Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be taking a look at how well MODOK does in a boss rush challenge. Now only fight we will not be using MODOK in is Domino, and not because he can't do that fight in regards of dealing with regeneration, just because of that backblast node and the fact that MODOK does in fact have guaranteed critical hits. Therefore he will be suffering incineration damage every other combo or so that would simply kind of like burn us to death over there. But anyway, so first fight is quite simple. It's King Root. There is nothing tricky about it, especially for MODOK, because he also can reverse that healing King Root gets for a while, so that's like an extra bonus on damage output bit. One most important synergy that we are running here is MODOK synergy with Mr. Sinister, or actually Mr. Sinister synergy with MODOK. But anyways, base idea is whenever opponent uses a special attack, they are power locked for 6 seconds. Now only criticism I have of that synergy is that it triggers the moment opponent starts his special attack, so you have to wait out all the special attack animation, obviously, in order to kind of get in there and punish opponents, and that obviously reduces the actual uptime of the power lock. However, it is still extremely useful synergy and lets MODOK be super aggressive in comparison to how he would be in a regular fight. Now, this fight is Archangel against Domino. Nothing too tricky over there. I am using my rank 3 5-star Archangel. That's right, I have never taken my Archangel past rank 3. I did want to, but there's always something else to rank. And honestly, like every single piece of content where I absolutely had to use Archangel, rank 3 has been enough. Like, it's not the champion I use to clear the entire path or anything like that, but for whatever trouble and problem fight we are facing, even a rank 3 Archangel has always proved himself to be sufficient for my intentions anyways. Yeah, I did make a slip up there. I ate a heavy attack from Domino, but aside from that, it's not a tricky fight. You just basically need to make sure you keep some of the neurotoxins on her so she can't regenerate. Also, the neurotoxins deal good amount of damage, so as you can see that Domino is melting away fairly quickly. Nothing difficult in this fight, just parry heavy, and we can see that she's melting away at 30% now. Now Neuro is about to expire, so I do need to get a couple new ones in. Unfortunately, she launched a special attack while my Neuro is expiring, therefore at that point I could not get my stun in, and I could not kind of like try and apply another Neuro. But now a couple of heavies later, we have 2 Neuros on her. We chain a special attack with our heavy attack, and that pretty much works out perfectly. She's at 3%, about to drop. Nothing difficult in this fight. And now moving on to the next fight, we have to face Quake, that's fully immune, has a spite and aggression regeneration on her. So in terms of fighting, it's an awesome fight. I like it because you don't need any kind of like specific champions. It doesn't even really matter all that much whether you use champions that have buffs or they don't have buffs. For most part, if you manage to stay aggressive, do a bunch of backdraft intercepts, you will pretty much be fine. So she will sneak in some regeneration stacks here and there, but as we can see, she's going down really quickly. 22 hits in, she's at 50%. So yeah, there is nothing kind of too difficult or too special about this fight. You just kind of need to know what you're doing. You need to be okay with intercepts and backdraft intercepts and stuff like that. And aside from that, yeah, we can see that she's nearly down at 20% now. Just need to bait out a level 1 and pretty much move on to the next fight straight up. So this was a fairly simple fight. It's one of the more enjoyable fights as well, I believe, in boss rush, just because it's largely depending on your skill and your ability to kind of intercept, and much less kind of like on what champion you are using or what's your damage output, so on and so forth. Anyways, next fight, Invisible Woman. Now this is a fairly cool fight as well. I do like the node combination and stuff like that. I'm not the biggest fan of the fact that it is in fact Invisible Woman that I have to deal here with. There I got interrupted for a second because I was doing this recording at work, so stuff happens. Anyway, so back to Invisible Woman fight. Yeah, only reason I don't particularly like the fact that Invisible Woman is here is just because it's really hard to do with kind of lower damage output champions, because if you can't break her out of her force field kind of fast enough, then you pretty much end up doing no damage. But as long as you're having a decent damage output champion that's decently ranked, you have no problems in this fight. I just need to be careful whenever her force field is about to expire on your last hit. You need to always pause yourself, check if she actually does go invisible. If she doesn't, perfect. Obviously here also it is very useful to have that Mr. Sinister synergy, just because every time she launches a special attack she gets power locked, and that means I can get in more hits, more attack, be more aggressive, and basically just have more time while that power force field is off. But anyways, as we can see here, she's at 5%. I think I will make a small slip up, but it's not going to be anything too major. Just gonna take a hit and a block right here, and yeah, so the fight is over. 66 hits, not the fastest, not the longest fight, but nothing overly complicated. Now probably the fight you guys are waiting for, because this is a fight I don't particularly like, just because the fight is determined within the first couple of seconds whether opponent does throw his level 2 or not. So I'm not a big fan of design as is. If it's true that it was meant to be both champions starting with the bar of power, then it would be much better than it is right now. But anyways, so Symbiote Supreme gets power locked every time he throws a special attack. That also means he doesn't get that burst of power from his abilities, and it becomes so much easier to manage his power. And now, as you can see here, we have absolutely nothing to worry about. He's power locked, we can be as aggressive as we can, and yeah, it's a very simple fight for MODOK. So long as he throws that first level 2 on time, you're gonna be perfectly fine. And we can see that also class advantage increases your damage output, and it's pretty much perfect. One of the easy ways how to deal with Symbiote Supreme, granted if he throws level 2 at beginning of the fight. And now last fight against Taskmaster Icarus. There's also nothing kind of like too stressful or hard about this fight. Now one kind of downside for MODOK in this fight is the fact that his heavy attack in fact does place debuffs on opponents, so Taskmaster will like kind of go fully debuff immune quicker than would against most opponents, but at the same time that power lock synergy, if you use it right, will let you be more aggressive in this fight, and that will mean that you will be able to make a good use of those furies from Icarus and just deal with this guy extremely quickly. So as we can see, Big Potato Head currently has 7, 8, 9 furies. We're dealing some nice damage, 12k crit over there, 4k medium non-crits, level 1. So unfortunately we did not crit over there, so Taskmaster is still alive. We just want to bait out a heavy attack, and then we're going to be in business. So the fight is over, 33 hits and nothing too much to stress about. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button, hit that sub button, share it with your friends, show them what MODOK the Potato Head is capable of. See ya!